Hi, good afternoon. This is Sirisha Varma. I run a digital marketing agency called as Branding by Pixels, and we also work with different businesses to work on their strategies. It could be marketing strategies, it could be business strategies. So today, as part of our series, which we are talking on COVID-19, I wanted to talk about 10 different industries that have been hard hit by COVID-19. This is just not in India, this is across the world. If you are from India, you know that we are already in lockdown since a month now. There are some zones which have been identified as red, green, and orange zones. So, and there has been discussion by the government. Our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, has taken great measures to ensure that the pandemic does not spread as widely as it has done throughout the world. So, the corrective measures that he has taken is establishing lockdown all across India. So, there have been times wherein we have had lot of people complaining about this measure, and people are talking about this is just one measure that may not actually stop this pandemic. But as a business owner, my concern is regarding how this will affect the economy. So these are the 10 industries that have been affected by COVID across the world, not just India. If you have been reading if you have been reading newspapers, or if you are have been watching the news, then you already know about these industries. But as a business strategist, and as somebody who has been in the marketing world, who has seen different businesses evolve, I would also like to talk about the different measures that we need to take to ensure business continuity. Because if you think that these 10 days are just going to be this 1 month, or whatever this lockdown period is going to be, is just a holiday. It is just some free time that you have got to spend with your family, and then you can go back and everything will be all right. Then I am really sorry to say that is not how it is going to be. Because this is a pandemic, and it has affected not just you, but the economy of the complete world. So this is a situation that we have seen in 1929 when there was a Great Depression, and again we are facing the same issue now. So the business will not, your business or anybody else's business, even if you are an employee, you would be affected by this. Businesses will not be the same post the lockdown or post COVID. Even once the lockdown is over, there is no guarantee that there won't be a second bout of virus. This is going to be a cyclic. If you look at my other video that I will be sharing in the link below, we have spoken about how this is going to be just the first cycle. So this would be a cyclical bout of virus that will be affecting most of us again in the future. So there are certain steps that you can take to make sure that your business continuity is ensured. If you are part of these 10 business domains that we are going to talk about, which have been affected severely by COVID-19, then please don't panic, but stay until the end of the video, wherein we will talk about what measures you can do, how you can change your business models. Because trust me, business models have to change. There is no way that you can get out of this pandemic unscathed. So let us start with the first industry that has been severely hit by this pandemic COVID-19, which is the airline industry. So as you know, this virus has actually started in China, Wuhan, but then Chinese have they came to know in November, December, and then post that, because of New Year, people started traveling. Chinese people have started traveling around the world, and that is how it is expected that this virus has spread. So the first industry that has been hard hit, because the first thing that any country prime minister or any country president will do when it comes to a virus which only spreads because of human touch or human interaction, is to close their borders, right? So that is what they have done. And then airline industry has been severely affected. People who have planned their travel, people who have booked their tickets, are now asking for the airline industry to reimburse those, because previously airline industry has just given them an option to extend that. So if you were somebody who has probably booked a ticket to travel in March, because everything was shut down in March, airline industry has given you an option to probably extend it. So not March, April, but you could actually use those tickets probably for May, June, July, or going forward for the next 3 months is what they have given an option for most of their travelers. But now that is not going to be the case, because most of the people will not travel until and unless it is absolutely necessary. So airline is an industry which is very severely hit. That is number one in the list. The second industry which has been hard hit by COVID-19 and will keep getting continuously hit in the next few months until this end of the year, or until a vaccine is found for this pandemic, is travel industry. So if you look at travel industry, it could be different sectors. Airline is just one sector of a travel industry. The second sector could be your airline ticket, people who book your airline ticket, or we call them booking agents, right? So in a country like India, we still have booking agents. So many people who are in their 60s or 50s, they generally prefer to book an airline ticket or to book their guided tour using booking agents. So that is what is the second industry which is going to be very severely hit, because people will not want to travel at this point of time. They would postpone all their travel until and unless it is absolutely necessary, and even governments will not allow people to travel. So tourism is going to be severely affected. If there is any country or region which only suffices on income produced by tourism, and they don't have any inherent manufacturing industries or any service industries, then that country or that region will be severely hit because of this pandemic. Because I don't see people traveling until the end of this year, until everything subsides or a vaccine is found. The third industry, and there are many people in US who have shut shop, who belong to this industry and who have also filed unemployment, is the restaurant business. So if you look at New York is the real I have heard somewhere that the real estate in New York is costlier than anywhere else in the whole of the world. So if there is any restaurant which has their setup in New York, then you can actually look at the scale of their operations, right? So if they can actually take up those kind of rentals in the most costliest real estate industry in the world, which is New York, then you can look at the kind of expenses that they have. So most of the restaurants in New York are closed, not just closed temporarily, but they have been closed permanently, because it seems in the restaurant industries, their margins, many of us think, what is there in this? If I make the same idli sambar, or if I make the same pizza at home, probably the raw material cost would be 1/3 of what I would have to pay if I buy from outside, right? But if you look at the restaurant industry, the number of people that they employ and the real estate cost, because for a restaurant industry, location is all that matters, whether there will be footfall or not, whether people will conceive it as a high-end restaurant or not, depends on the location of where the restaurant is. So because of that, there are severe costs that a restaurant actually has to take upon. So most of the restaurants restaurants are not just temporarily closed across the world, but they are permanently closed because they only have OPEX, that is operational expenses, which are probably for a week. And if they're really very organized, they have operational expenses which will suffice probably for a month only. But given that this lockdown period or this shutdown has been for more than a month, and we don't even know if it will be done within the month, and if they still have to pay wages or salaries to their employees, they will just not be it will just not be feasible for them. So they have permanently closed. And also, so many restaurants in India are also facing severe challenges because of not just the COVID, but they are also afraid that once the economy once the lockdown is done, there might still be people who might not want to go to a restaurant, right? In that case, you never know whether, see, even if one customer comes or 10 customers comes, you still have to keep your restaurant open, which is hugely expensive for this industry. So that is number 3 on our list. The fourth is manufacturing sectors. So if you look at the manufacturing sectors, you will find very few names which are very big companies. Apart from that, most of the manufacturing sector, 70 to 80% of the manufacturing sector only works through MSMEs, that is medium and small scale enterprises. So these medium and small scale enterprises, probably these are the kind of people who probably manufacture just one part in a big machinery, or they are ancillary units to a big industry, in which ancillary units probably just create a couple of parts or just one part. So these are the kind of industries which are severely hit because of the lockdown and because of unavailability of labor. So what is happening currently is, though government has given a green signal to open manufacturing sectors in some essential commodities, or in areas where there are no COVID cases. So like I said, there are some areas which have been appropriately colored, right? So government of India has taken measures to appropriately color certain areas like green, red, amber, orange, etc. So in green zones wherein we don't have any COVID cases for the for the previous 28 days, or there have never been cases, they are called as green zones. So some states or the center has given permission for some industries in some states which are in green to start manufacturing, but they're still not able to open it up because of non-availability of labor. So most of these MSMEs, if you are part of the MSME fraternity, or if you know the business economics in general, you will understand that most of the MSMEs only employ people who are who are daily laborers, right? So or contractual workers. So once this shutdown started, all these contractual workers, they just didn't want to get stuck in city because they don't have anybody here. They just come here for work. So they wanted to go back home, and that is when they went back home. So even though now government has given the MSME owners green signal to start manufacturing, they are not able to do it because there are no laborers available. These people who have gone home, or who are also most of them have gone home, but if they are in Hyderabad also, they're not Hyderabad or any other states, they are not ready to go to work because there are lots of restrictions also that government has put. Though they have given the green signal, they said these factories should have residential places, that is they should reside these laborers in their places only, so they don't again go back out of the factory, mingle with other people and come back to work, because the chances of contamination will be higher in that case, which many of the MSMEs cannot afford. So manufacturing sectors is the hardest hit, which is the fourth sector. The fifth sector is ride sharing apps. As you know, all the travel is at this point of time stands cancelled. Previously they said if it is emergency service, then probably we could probably book a cab or something like that, but then there was no control. Like, you cannot control. How can you say something is an emergency or not, and who is going to check that, right? So they decided, that is, the government decided, that it is better to stop all cab riding services. So any ride sharing app, it could be cab, or it could be services like Bounce, wherein you get bikes for rents and all, they have been completely shut down. There has been no movement. And most of these sectors, right, they have drivers who buy those vehicles with loans on their own name. So the company operated vehicles will be very, very less, maybe 10%, but 90% of the other rides are owned and operated by the driver. So until and unless they make money, they will not be able to pay EMI for that month. But because of lockdown, everything is shut down, so even the drivers are not able to generate good income so that they can pay their EMI. So this is the fifth hard hit sector. The sixth one is movies or entertainment. So as you know, you must have been reading about different movie celebrities or different movie stars who are, if they have their own production facility, they are also looking at not waiting for the theaters to open, but to release their movies on small screens, like Prime or AHA or Netflix, rather than to wait until the theaters will open. Because even though the theaters might open post lockdown, there is no guarantee that people would want to go to a place wherein the contamination probability will be much higher. So most of the films which have come to conclusion are either trying to release in small screens. There are still some celebrities who think everything will be normal, so they just don't want to release it in the small screen. There are others who think it will not happen so soon, so they are okay to release on a smaller screen. But apart from that, if there are any movies in the making, they're all completely shut down, which is a huge loss. And the seventh sector that is very hard hit and will still remain hit is shopping. So most of the people who are in metro cities, if you look at if you are part of a metro city, if you are a resident of the metro city, you know that once the weekend comes, most of the people are out there in the streets for shopping. It could be because of the higher disposable incomes that we have, or this culture of having a weekend travel, because most of the weekdays we are very busy from Monday to Friday, so we only get some time for ourselves over the weekend. It only most of the people used to indulge in a lot of shopping. But given that there is this complete lockdown, and also people have this phobia regarding how something they might touch might get contaminated, and they might be getting COVID. Most of the shopping centers, shopping malls, even individual stores will be shut down for the next few months, or until and unless this COVID, or until and unless a vaccine is found for COVID. The eighth industry which is affected and will keep getting affected is education. Strangely enough, you might think education is the most resilient industry, which it is, yes, because middle class person, he may not invest in good clothes, he may not invest in a grand bungalow, he may not invest in a very good car, but he will definitely invest in a good education for his children, right? So education is the most resilient industry, but at this point of time, everything is in shutdown, and we still don't know if they will open post lockdown, because again it is a hugely dense kind of industry, right? So there are so many people, that is at, in one class at least there are 50 to 60 students. If it is a school, if it is college, if it is a vocational course, there are many more people. So wherever the densities are higher, the chances of contamination will be higher. So we still don't know post lockdown if And also government may not even allow these to open, right? Like the shopping centers or the malls and the education institutes. I am really not sure government will keep these open post lockdown also, because until and unless a vaccine is found, these are the places that will pose huge risk. So this education industry, it has been actually moving on to different platforms, but now is the time to move on much more quickly. Then the ninth sector, which many of the people, all these above eight sectors, maybe you have heard somebody else talk about how it is being affected by COVID, or how it will keep getting affected. But the ninth sector is something which is something that many people don't talk about, and there are some measures that government has been taking regarding this specific sector, which is the advertising industry. So if you look at advertising, right, you may see out of home advertising, which is your hoardings, billboards, bus shelters. But apart from this, there are huge advertising opportunities even in the railway. So on the platforms, on the train also, you see all this train wraps. So all of this comes as part of advertising. And there are people who actually take tenders from state government or central government to operate all this infrastructure, and then they sell the space to clients. So this is the advertising industry which is hugely hit, mostly because everybody is sitting at home. So most of their clients have cancelled their contract. So their contracts are no longer operational, but they still have to pay amount to state or central governments because they have been using that infrastructure. So advertising is the ninth industry which is hard hit and will keep getting hit, because specifically in Hyderabad, the GHMC has ordered that if there is any hoarding which is 15 feet above, then those need to be removed. They no longer have permissions to advertise on hoardings which are 15 feet and above, because government is talking about the huge risk if a hoarding falls on somebody. There have been instances in the past, very minuscule instances, but still there have been instances where hoardings have fallen on people because of the huge rains or huge wind, and people have died. So government is citing that as a reason and saying that any hoardings which are 15 feet and above will not be given permission for continuation of advertising, or and there won't be any tenders to renew those orders also. And the 10th industry, which many of the people don't talk about, though it is a hugely popular industry in India, is the events industry. See, most of if you look at a middle class person, then there are only two things that a middle class person generally invests on, right? So one is an education, because they want very good education for their kids, or because they look at it as the only opportunity through which you can get to the next stage. And the second thing that they invest hugely on is a wedding or an event in their family. So weddings are the most invested events in one person's lifetime. So they will generally have one daughter or one son, and it is also seen as a as an parameter wherein you can talk about your status is shown in the society, right? But because of COVID, I am sure that even post the lockdown, government will put restrictions regarding the events, how many people can actually attend the events, and what sort of arrangements will be made. So events is going to be a huge industry. Events can be your event managers, it can be your photographers, it can be your decoration people. All these people also use lots of daily wage laborers for all this kind of work. So it will be a huge hit industry. So these are some of the industries that I think will be hit by COVID-19. So what can be done to ensure that these businesses don't face the kind of economic crisis that we are talking about. Well, there are certain things that these industries can do to make sure that their business continuity happens, because this change, right, it is not going to be a temporary change. This change is going to be the start of processes to be put in place, wherein this is going to be a new world that you are going to enter in. So your business models have to change in all these industries. Most of these industries, they hugely rely on physical interactions, physical assets, physical labor, but there are certain things that have to be done, which some industries have already started working on. For example, if you look at travel industry, there are so many tourism departments, not in India unfortunately, but outside of India, wherein they are arranging virtual tours for people like you and me. So we actually see what kind of place that is. For example, you want to go to the Daman, but since it is locked down, and since there is this frightened phase wherein we don't know from where the contamination might be coming and how you might get affected, rather than you completely canceling that trip, what these tourism departments outside of India are doing is they are organizing small VR, which are virtual reality based trips. So you can sit at home, you can experience how that place will be, and post lockdown happens, and post all this mess, probably once the vaccine is created and successfully administered, you can then plan that trip. So that is something that they have already started working on. So that is the resilience of the industry, right? And restaurants, if you look at restaurants, most of the restaurants invest hugely in a brick and mortar presence. But I would suggest that going forward, if you are planning to open a restaurant, be very, very mindful of your expense. Even the current restaurants that are operational, they would have to change their business models to delivery, because most of us, even people who have both wife and husband working, they would not want to go to a restaurant, because you don't know how that place is maintained, you don't know whether it is contamination free or not. So most of the people would definitely want to eat out, but definitely not going out to eat. So there is a difference between eating out and going out to eat, right? So they would want to take probably get a delivery or take a takeout. So these restaurants also need to start becoming full-fledgedly sustained by buying the necessary packaging material, that by making sure that they have their delivery channels set up, etc. Next, manufacturing sectors. So if we look at manufacturing sectors, most of the manufacturing sectors, there is little scope for improvement though there, because most of them are MSME operated. So in an MSME kind of setup, it is much more feasible for you if you have people working, rather than to go ahead with automation. But big companies like Tata Motors and all, they are looking at investing hugely in automation, because they want minimal human interaction. So they would then go ahead and invest in those kind of specific sectors only. So if you are part of an automation sector, if you are part of IT, or if you can write code or create products which will apply for automation in manufacturing sectors, then your business will boom. Ride sharing apps, there is nothing much that we can do, but ride sharing apps will still take a lot of hit, because most of the companies, they are opting for work from home for their employees. It is just not going to be this stage, but companies are seeing lots of profits if they opt for the work from home model. Because if an employee has to go to office, right, there the cost of the rental of the office space and the facilities that the employee has to be provided, like vending machines, the cafeteria that has to be provided, the cleaning staff that has to be there to maintain the office premises, it is going to become very, very costly. So many companies have seen, and the power expenses, the electricity expenses, the AC expenses. So many companies are actually seeing a lot of plus side if employees work from home. Of course there will be productivity tools, of course there would be certain measures that the company will take to make sure that the employees are working rather than slackening off, but those tools will cost them lesser than to actually setting up an office and physically maintaining it. So that is the, if people stop commuting so much, then the ride sharing apps business will definitely go down. So and until and unless we have a concept like a driverless car kind of concept, which is still probably a few years in the making, I don't see much hope for the ride sharing apps. Movies, like I said, many of the celebrities have already taken a stance saying that they would release in the smaller screens rather than wait for the theaters to open, but of course there is still scope for some blockbuster movies. Specifically in Bollywood, we have all this movie actors who have larger than life statuses and who would not want to release in a smaller screen, but of course they would have to change. I'm definitely going to I personally think that there is definitely going to be a change in their perception, and most of the people, because nowadays everybody sitting at home is consuming huge amounts of content on Netflix, on Prime, on Hotstar, on AHA kind of apps, right? So people are getting used to consuming those kind of contents. So even the movie industry probably might have to move on and use this phase as a testing phase for a much better, much economically viable way of releasing movies. Then we have shopping. Shopping is going to change permanently. Many people who invest in large brick and mortar kind of formulas, actually across the world there are so many companies which have filed for bankruptcy because of the huge real estate investments. The newest case study being Forever 21, which has completely shut down because of the huge real estate costs that they had to take upon every time they had to launch a brick and mortar store. So rather than that, I see lots of e-commerce opportunity there. So if you are a brick and mortar store, if you are a shop owner and you are viewing this video, please get in touch with us. We can help you move your brick and mortar kind of business model onto online platform. Even today in April, we are still able to generate revenues of 40K for our e-commerce client who is into kids wear and who is selling from her own website. So even today, when most of the big companies like Amazon and Flipkart, when they are closed off, there are no non-essential commodities being sold on these platforms, and they're only making 10% turnover of what they generally make, we are able to generate sales for our e-commerce client because these are pre-booking. So we can also help you get there. So if you have a brick and mortar store and if you are viewing this video, there is a link down below which is a Google Docs. Please fill up that link, set up some time with me so we can talk about how we can move your brick and mortar store onto the online world, wherein you can make money even though there might be consequential lockdowns going forward. Apart from that, advertising is going to be hard hit. There is nothing much that we can do. Most of the advertising agencies either have to work with a digital marketing agency like us, or they would have to set up their own digital marketing team. So if you are an advertising agency, if you would like to partner with us on the digital marketing aspect, please do reach out to me. I will leave my email ID down below. You can directly email me and we can talk about potential partnerships that we can work out with, because advertising had to change. It is a hugely invested business, and many people, and there are no ROI. So you if you put up a hoarding, you don't know how many people have actually seen it, and you don't know how many people have actually taken action. Whereas in the digital media space, you know about how many people have actually seen it, what action can be taken. So the 10th industry is events. Also, I see they will be affected affected. There is nothing that we can do about it. Even now, if you look at, there are many people who are getting married online. So through apps like Zoom, they are getting married because they just don't want to wait. And we don't know until how long this pandemic is going to affect us. Until and unless a vaccine is successfully created and administered and tested, which might be anywhere from 12 to 18 months, that is an year plus, right? The scope of events will definitely be less, and I am sure the government will also put restrictions regarding the number of people that can attend an event, even if there is an event that is going on. So try to make sure that you take your industry onto platforms wherein you have huge scope for business continuity. So digital media is one such platform wherein you can keep marketing about your business, you can keep talking about your business. You can also make sales on digital media even though you're sleeping, or even though if you're affected by pandemic. Like I said, we are still able to generate sales for our e-commerce client who's selling on her own website for kids wear, which is not an essential commodity. So if you might be thinking, oh, maybe it is an essential commodity, that is why they're still able to generate sales. It is not an essential commodity, it is kid party wear, but we are getting pre-orders, and we were able to generate 40k sales just in the April month when everything is shut down as well. So please look at all these different methods wherein you can take your business online. If you want help, there is a Google Docs, there is a Google Forms link that I'll be putting up in the description. You can schedule a specific separate call with me wherein we can do a one-to-one kind of call to understand what are your current business challenges, how we can make sure that you have a business continuity plan post COVID, and you can take your businesses online. Even for any kind of digital marketing, apart from digital marketing, even if you have any business strategy that you want to discuss, you are more than welcome to fill up that Google Doc, and I will be reaching out to you to set up specific time. So every day from 3 to 4 p.m. is when we are setting up these calls. We are getting huge response from business owners who are in the MSME sector and who don't know how to take their business forward from this, because this is a situation that nobody of us has ever seen. So please, also this is a free call, so please don't waste your time during this lockdown. Please reach out to us, we can discuss and we can see what we can do to make sure that you have a business continuity plan. I hope this was an interesting video. In the next series of video, which will be on Thursday or Friday, we will be talking about tools which you can use to ensure that you have a remote working capacity. So if you are a sector which has employees but it is not into manufacturing, you can still make sure that your employees work. If you are in IT sector, if you are in a service business sector, or if you are in business consulting, you can make sure that your employees still work during this time, though remotely. So you would need to set up some tools to make sure that this remote work goes without any hindrance, that you are able to manage your employees properly, their productivity is not getting disrupted. So all the different kind of tools that you can use, how you can set up those tools, all of that we'll be talking in our next video, which will be launching on Thursday or Friday. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you watching this video until the end. I hope this was interesting and you understood or learned a few things from this video. Please stay safe and please stay at home. Thank you so much. This is Sirisha Verma, founder of Branding by Pixels, a business strategy and digital marketing agency, signing off. Thank you. Good night. Take care.